Today we want to emphasize this issue of being a leader as an influencer, somebody whom people can follow. And I want to emphasize that people will not follow you unless they trust you. But number two, they will not trust you if they don't think you're a fair guy. If they can see clearly you are not being fair with the people around you, nobody else will come, because nobody wants to be treated badly. Everybody, even if you don't hear them shouting haki yetu, my justice, they actually feel very bad when you don't treat them fairly. So it's any leader who wants to succeed in getting followers from point A to point B, sometimes to a place they are not comfortable with, they start by trusting him. And when they trust him, he can take them to the place, because now they trust he knows what he is talking about. But the moment they don't trust him, they will have a problem following him. That's why we are saying a leader must seek and act in justice. The word seek here is to emphasize that sometimes you don't even know that whether what you are doing is fair or not, because you are talking about fairness not from your angle, but from the angle of the others who are with you. So you seek to be fair and you act fairly. And that's what you need to understand. So you must be, as a leader, you must be seen to be just and fair. But number two, you must be the kind of a person who encourages fairness throughout the group, throughout the organization, if you are leading an organization. And that will make people trust you and be happy to move with you. If you tolerate unfairness, people under you are being unfair, and your argument is not me, they will see you not. You will still be the loser, because they say if he can allow people to act with impunity, it means he doesn't care very much about us, and that can give you a lot of trouble. Now, the next thing I want to mention, and it's important that I deal with it, is that we are getting the lessons from 1 Samuel chapter 22. Verse 1 says, David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam, where his brothers and his father's household heard about it. Rather, when his brothers and his father's household heard about it, they went down to him there. From there, David went to Mizpah in Moab and said to the king of Moab, Would you let my father and my mother come and stay with you until I learn what God will do for me? So he left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him as long as David was in the stronghold. What are we learning? If you can't treat your family well, fairly, people know you cannot, there's nobody else you'll treat well. So people watch, how are you treating your family? And if you don't treat them fairly, they realize if he can't treat his wife well, there's no way I can expect justice from him. If he can't treat his son well, there's no way I can expect justice from him. But David is an exemplary person. He knows that when Saul looks for him and can't find him, the next target will be his parents and his siblings. So what does he do? He organizes how they can be saved. He goes to another enemy of Saul, the king of Moab, and tells them, please, stay with my people until I know what God wants with me into the future. And therefore, even as David is running away from King Saul, his parents and his siblings are well taken care of in Moab. Now, I think that's a very important thing to ask yourself. How are you in your own family? If you are not the kind of a person who is fair to your younger brothers and younger sisters, basically you will practice the wrong thing, and within no time, even when you become a leader, you will be looking at you as a weakling, and you will not be fair to them. You ask, where do you come from? Whose son are you? And on the basis of whose son the person is, That's where you treat them fairly or not fairly. My friend, practice to be fair to your family, and that will give you the practice to be fair outside there in leadership. And that will make people trust you, like we have been saying, and it will make people find it easy to follow you and to go to the destination you ask them to go to. Verse 2 says, all those who are in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him, and he became their commander. About 400 men were with him. You know, as people heard about this young man called David and realized that he is actually just, he is actually fair, and that the king could kill almost anybody without any investigation, they started gathering around him. My friend, if you are just, you'll attract even the helpless around you, the weaklings around you. Or put differently, God can give you an army from any background if you act justly. And that's the thing that you need to understand, that as people, as you're acting fairly, with people are watching. And those who are not watching, people are hearing. Message passes around. Hey, that guy, don't be near him. He can really be rough. That's not a good message to hear, because within no time, people will try to avoid you. Remember, in all this, we are not saying that you will not punish people. We are not saying that you will not be disciplined. We are only saying by the time you discipline anyone, even himself, he will be saying, yes, I'm guilty. I'm ready for the punishment. So he knows you are fair. Because we are not suggesting that in order for people to follow you, you start compromising standards. No, you keep the standards, but fairly, with fairness. In verse 5, we read, but the prophet Gad said to David, do not stay in the stronghold. Go into the land of Judah. So David left and went to the forest of Hereth. Do you get the message here? David is busy running away and organizing this team of new people that are gathered around him. But God is watching. He can see how unfairly treated David is. And he can also see how fair he treats others. And that justice attracts God's favor. So act justly and God will watch your back. Can you imagine? He was thinking that he is hiding in Adullam. But then God can see that that's where Saul is coming. So he tells him, no. Don't stay here. Go back to Judah. But Judah is where Saul is. Yes, that will be safer than where you are. You know, God can see where you can't see. Can you see that if you are really going to be somebody who is just, act justly before God? You know, you look at people and you say, how will anybody know I ever treated them badly? How will they ever know that I cheated them? How will they ever? On that basis, you can treat people fairly when they can see and fairly when they cannot see. But here the standard is different. It is God who is watching. And he wants you to treat people fairly. And with him watching, he will see what you do in the dark and what you do in the light. My friend, do you want God's blessings in your leadership? Know that he sees everywhere. He sees in secret, but it's beneficial when he sees you acting justly. Verse 6. Now Saul heard that David and his men had been discovered, and Saul was seated, spear in hand, under the tamarisk tree on the hill at Gibeah, with all his officials standing at his side. He said to them, listen, men of Benjamin, will the son of Jesse give all of you fields and vineyards? Will he make all of you commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds? Is that why you have all conspired against me? No one tells me when my son makes a covenant with the son of Jesse, none of you is concerned about me, or tells me that my son has incited my servant to lie in wait for me, as he does today. Saul is the example of unfairness. He knows the truth. He knows David is running away from him and that David did not do anything wrong to deserve being spared. He was simply insecure and thought that David could take over the kingdom after him. He wants him dead so that his son can be the one to inherit him. But now he has started out the story and say that David is the one trying to kill him. You know, acting unjustly will mean that even your own people will not trust you. You know, these people, Benjamin, he was from the tribe of Benjamin. And he's telling the Benjamites, you don't seem to care about me. In other words, they will not report where David is to their tribesmen because they can see he is treating David unfairly. That's why it's so important for you to act fairly. Because if you act unfairly, even your own people will not support you. They may not even follow you. And so you'll put yourself in a lot of trouble. It's something that you need to be aware of. My prayer is that God will help all of us to have that fairness, not to copy Saul, but instead to copy David. Verse 9. But Doeg, the Edomite, who was standing with the Saul's officials, said, I saw the son of Jesse come to Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, at Nob. Ahimelech inquired of the Lord for him. He also gave him provisions and the sword of Goliath and the Philistine. Then the king said to the priest Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, and all the men of his family, who were the priests of Nob, and they all came. He sent for them, so they all came to the king. Saul said, listen now, son of Ahitub. My friend, can you see what this guy has done? It is true he saw David, but he has no idea what the two are discussing. But now he turns around and says that, they were conspiring. And then the king takes it exactly as it is, without any investigation. My friend, implicating someone innocent when you do not have full information is the epitome of injustice and unfairness. And so you need to be very careful. The other day, watching a TV program on our prison, so I was surprised about how many people have been put in prison unfairly. Somebody created a story. On the basis of that story, it went to court, and the guy finally is jailed. Unfairly. Now, my friend, if you are going to be the leader God wants, if you are going to be the leader that people trust, it will be very, very important that you do not act whenever you hear reports. Don't rely on rumor mongers. Like Doeg, the Edomite, the rumor monger. Do not implicate someone. Maybe something is lost. And you say, that looks like my younger brother. Where is the evidence? Why can't you first of all say, let me check? And once you have evidence, then you can confront the person. But you don't talk like somebody has done something. That is the epitome of it. And unfortunately, many leaders have destroyed and killed many people simply by being manipulated by the followers. Followers have a quarrel. They say, I'll report you. And the guy actually goes ahead and punishes the person. You know, verse 11 says, then the king sent for the priest Ahimelech, son of Ahitub, and all the men of his family, who were the priests at Nob, and all came to the king. Saul said, listen now, son of Ahitub. Yes, my lord. Why have you conspired against me, you and the son of Jesse, giving him bread and a sword, and inquiring of God for him, so that he has rebelled against me and lies in wait for me, as he does today? He is being accused of conspiracy. We know the story, so we know there's nothing like that. Do you know he was actually killed on the basis of that rumor? The Saul did not bother at all to investigate what the truth of the matter is. You know, the Bible teaches us that justice requires you verify any matter in the mouth of 3 witnesses. The first one is trustworthy, but you still don't act. The second one is trustworthy, you still don't act. You wait until you have a third witness, all saying the same thing. That means you cannot be quick to act. You must listen to stories as you are being given, but you don't act before you verify them yourself. And the moment people realize that you don't take rumors, they'll stop giving you rumors. When they realize that you investigate and it might turn out they were cheating and then you'll be in trouble with you, they will not keep giving you rumors. And any leader who relies on rumors with his kitchen cabinet, my friend, will not go very far. Verse 17 is saying, then the king ordered the guards at his side, turn and kill the priests of the Lord, because they too have sided with David. They knew he was fleeing, yet they did not tell me. Accused wrongly. But you know something? The king's officials were unwilling to raise a hand to strike the priests of the Lord, except this dog. Now, what are we learning in the process? If you are really to act with justice, you must be somebody who honors God and who honors the servants of God. Justice will require you respect and protect the church. Don't be somebody who can just destroy the church because you had a rumor. Be like these people. They faced their leader. They faced the king and said, this is a priest. We can't kill him. Now, are you that type of a person who will defend people and not act because the leader tells you, go and do this? You go and do it against your friend, yet you are not sure there's anything wrong. Or can you stand and say, sorry, I don't know what he has done wrong, and there's no evidence he has done wrong. I don't want to get involved. A leader is a person who will require evidence, especially if you are going to be accusing the church of something or the pastor of something. But like we saw earlier, that should be your mode operandi. That means that you can never be rude to the church. You'll be respectful to the church and the people who lead the church. Finally, we look at verse 20. But one son of Imelech, son of Etub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled to join David. He told David that Saul had killed the priest of the Lord. Then David said to Abiathar, the day when Doeg the Edomite was there, I knew he would be sure to tell Saul, I'm responsible for the death of your whole family. Stay with me. Don't be afraid. The man who wants to kill you is trying to kill me too. You will be safe with me. Justice requires you protect the weak and admit your mistake. But many leaders never admit their mistakes. Justice requires, if you have done something wrong, you tell the person you hurt, I was wrong. David tells this guy, if I had not exposed your father, I would not have, your father would not be dead. I am responsible for it. Join me, because the person who is hunting to kill you is also trying to kill me. So let's stay together. Are you that kind of a person? Do you protect the weak and the innocent, so that if you see the innocent being harassed, you don't say, but it's not me? If you are a leader, you'll be like the defense lawyer for your people. Never allow bad information about them to be the one circulating. May the Lord help us to be these kind of leaders who act in fairness and justice, both now and in the future. Thank you very much. Back to Anne.